Hey, good morning, my friends. Another beautiful, beautiful day here in Western Arizona. It's going to be up around 80, 85 degrees. Perfect for some outdoor adventures. Uh, well, we're still ironing out some bugs, and a lot of that's my fault. Learning curves. Have to pardon me. That bit of allergies been working a lot out in the garden and out in the yard the last few days. Um, Since Podbean discontinued the live stream, we've had to find other options. And we decided to press our YouTube channel into service and use our Substack account as kind of a central hub for the entire Jim Hinckley's America network. It's been quite a challenge to say the very least, but we're getting the hang of this, and I'm grateful that everyone could join us and share the adventure. And I want to invite anybody that has questions. Uh, Go ahead, ask away. I'm going to be answering some of the questions we got sent this week as soon as we posted that this is what we were going to be doing. And also, I'll have a call-in phone number for you if you'd like to, call in and talk to us. So let's get right down to this because we got a lot we want to share with you this morning. This was quite a surprise. This is an example of how my world works. Uh, this week, I've had a pretty busy schedule meeting with groups, talking to people. And Roberto Rossi came through town with a group. He's the president of the Italian Route 66 Association. And I was really surprised by this honorary membership in the Italian Route 66 Association. I'm quite honored by that and always surprised by these things. Route 66 in its centennial year is getting a lot of press and publicity, to say the very least. I'm going to share this. This was sent to me, called to my attention from some folks in the UK. This is a first-rate publication, automotive publication, high-end magazine, almost a book kind of thing, like Richard Lentinello's Crankshaft magazine. Very, very impressive. Well, look what they have in this publication. Route 66, 100 years. Nice article about the history of Route 66. Always great to see those kind of things. See what else we've got here. Let me answer a couple of your questions. Speaking of this, there was a British UK association, but I don't think it's been active for a long, long time. But for folks in the UK or United States, for that matter, if you're looking for a Route 66 adventure without any hassle, without any worry, everything being taken care of for you, a little bit of customizing the itinerary, or just a road trip or rail adventure, even in the United States or Canada, our good friends there in the UK, Chantel and Stephen at Route Trip USA. You might check them out. They have a first-rate offering for road trips and bespoke adventures on Route 66 and, like I say, rail adventures as well. I've had a lot of questions about how best to travel Route 66. Well, there's a couple about how much. First of all, let's go into how much of Route 66 is still drivable. It depends on who you talk to. It's about 95% drivable, depending if you have a rental car or a Jeep. Most folks have a tendency to think that rental cars are the best off-road vehicle. But when people ask me about driving Route 66 and how long and how much of it's drivable, I have to ask which Route 66. See, the highway changed a lot over the years. And for example, in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, before 1937, Route 66 made a big loop from Santa Rosa up through Santa Fe and down into Albuquerque. After 37, that loop was cut off. So the road was always in a state of transition and evolution. And then some of it got buried under the interstate highway systems. So it can be kind of confusing. Illinois has done, and Oklahoma have done a pretty good job with signage um, on how to find the various alignments of Route 66. But there's two things I always recommend for travelers, and they're bookends. They're the classic Route 66, and they're the modern era on Route 66. One is Jerry McClanahan's Easy 66 Guide for Travelers. Now, this is Jerry's a acclaimed artist based out of Chandler, Oklahoma. But the book, I carry this even though I've traveled Route 66 pretty consistently since 1959. I still carry a copy of Jerry's book when I do Route 66, and it's well worth the price of admission. Jerry also has a companion website that goes along with this, where he provides updates on a regular basis. And yeah, he asks you to come by his gallery. He'll sure sign this for you. This is kind of a throwback to the 1950s, and it really sums up the unique nature of Route 66 today. The other thing I recommend is the Route 66 navigation app. It's you'll find it's a yellow app. There's several others out there, but this is the only one I'm really comfortable recommending. And unfortunately, a lot of folks, instead of coming up with a better mousetrap, coming up with a better idea and competing, they choose to complain and hide behind the Route 66 is an American highway cloaked in patriotism kind of argument that doesn't really hold water. The developers of the Route 66 navigation app are based in Czechia and Bratislava, Slovakia, Touch Media. But these people are not only, of course, they're out, yeah, they're making a buck, but they're dedicated to the Route 66 community. They've created projects that help support communities. They've contributed to preservation initiatives. And most importantly, in fact, they're on the road right now with the app developer. They contribute mightily to the Route 66 community because they'll spend a month at a time on the road testing the app, improving the app, and making sure it's the best it could possibly be. You can only imagine how much money they spend and contribute to the Route 66 community when spending a month on the road. So the Route 66 navigation app and Easy 66 Guide for Travelers. The Route 66 navigation app is real easy, route66navigation.com. They also have a free ebook on the website that is available in numerous languages on how to what to expect, how to plan a Route 66 trip, and those kind of things. All well worthwhile. Speaking now, I wanted to answer a few of your questions. Beside how do we plan the trip? We always like to talk about books and encourage people to discover Route 66 with books, learn about the history. Because the idea is here at Jim Hinckley's America, yes, we tell people where to go, but we like to share America's story. We like to encourage people to discover America and its unique and inspirational story through road trips. So books are a big part of that. Now, fortunately, this is an original copy here by Motor to the Golden Gate, Emily Post. This book has been reprinted, and I highly recommend the book. So it's kind of getting fragile and coming apart. So it was written by Emily Post during her trip in, I believe, 1915. And it has complete with maps. But this is a really interesting chronicle of what it was like to travel across the United States by automobile in the years before Route 66 and the advent of the U.S. highway system. Very detailed, very fascinating, and she was a very good storyteller. Let's see what else. I've got a couple other books here for you as well. This one, Jeremy Schmidt was a guest on Coffee with Jim some months ago when we were still on Podbean. His book, I highly recommend if you're going to be spending any time in Oklahoma. Here Today, Oklahoma's Ghost Towns, Vanishing Towns, and Towns Resisting Against the Odds, Persisting Against the Odds. Very fascinating book. This would be a great companion if you're taking back roads of Oklahoma. Speaking of Oklahoma, the Tulsa Route 66 Road Fest is coming up. A AAA Route 66 Road Fest in Tulsa is coming up in on 26th and 27th of June. Let me check that real quick. Yeah. This will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's quite an event. First of all, it's a lot of fun because it's air conditioned. That always makes it nice in the summer. But the other thing is it's travel trailers, it's automobiles. They've got a great display of vintage travel trailers. They've created these pods that are interactive and richly detailed, chronicling every decade in the evolution of Route 66. And then they have a great presentation stage, a series of presentations. I'm very pleased and honored that I'll be on stage this year with Michael Wallace, one of the true pioneers in the Route 66 Renaissance route movement. Pulitzer Prize winning author and voice of the sheriff in Pixar's movie Cars. That might be kind of a great event. And whether you attend Road Fest or not, I've got some recommendations for you. The Campbell Hotel, kind of quirky, a little odd, but it's a great boutique hotel, good location on Route 66. The Oklahoma Route 66 Association offices are right next door. And directly across the street, I discovered this last year when I was in Tulsa, is the Sweetie Pie's Amish Kitchen and Bakery. I highly recommend a stop there. And another great place if you're looking for food, and this answers some of your questions that I received, places to eat that I recommend. Check out the Mother Road Market. It's just off Route 66 by a block or two in Tulsa. This is a fascinating international food court, and check it out online. The business model is really intriguing, but the diversity and the foods are excellent. Okay. Route 66 Centennial questions. Well, my gosh, there is a bunch of events. It seems like every week there's 2 or 3, 4 to choose from. This is speaking of Centennial. This is produced by Touch Media. It is not their traditional. Touch Media, the folks who did the Route 66 navigation app. They also have the Route 66 Passport, which was designed to get people into visitor centers. And then the visitor centers could funnel people into the communities. It's kind of a way to support the Route 66 communities. And you would collect stamps along the way at businesses and visitor centers. This one's a little different. They really poured themselves into this. This is non-stampable, but it's a souvenir. Route 66 Centennial Passport. It's pretty darned impressive, to say the very least. They just poured themselves into this thing, and just pretty amazing work. This is a great souvenir for any Route 66 enthusiast. Also, I want to put that out there. Now, I had some questions on children traveling the road, and I highly encourage that. Um, Getting kids on the road early and sparking an interest in road trips. A lot of parents they're either too lenient with electronic devices for their kids, lean too heavily on it, or they freak and they don't want to give their kids any any electronics at all. Well, there's got to be a balance, and one of the things we have to do is give them something different besides an iPad or a phone. And if we can start early getting kids interested in road trips and not just driving from point A to point B, but enjoying the trip. I had a recent visit with Anne Slanina. She's the creator of the Annie Mouse series of children's books. And she's got a new endeavor that she's put out. And this is the Annie Mouse's Route 66 activity book, available at a lot of stores like Calico's in Kingman, Arizona, and other places along Route 66. I was really surprised to see that she had included this in the children's guide. I found that really impressive. I was so this is a one way to get kids excited about road trips. Do something a little old fashioned. Get them out there a little bit to discover the road. Now, there's other things you can do, and I've had a lot of questions about how to get kids engaged in road trips and not make it boring and get them away from video games and things for a while. You can include a lot of activities that will pique their interest and spark some interest. Grand Canyon Caverns, Merrimack Caverns, great examples. Um, the National Transportation Museum outside of St. Louis has a lot of really neat things. Here in Kingman Main Street put together a narrated self-guided walking tour. And it's really easy, www.kingman.tours. And it's not only a self-guided tour of history and art and movie trivia, but it's a great way to discover the historic district, including ice cream parlors like Scoops on 66. So a little bit of creativity, you can really get the kids involved and make the trip about them. Some of the associations are putting out tremendous new visitors guides and business directories. This is from Illinois, Scenic Byway, the newest visitors guide. You can contact the Illinois Scenic Byways. It has motel listings, but it's also uh, information about Route 66, places you can go, places you can get centennials, official centennial stops, and a lot of great stuff for children again and young people, kids activities. I mentioned when we started this that a lot of uh, attention is being put on Route 66 because of the centennial. And one of my concerns is that once the centennial is over, a lot of people and communities are just going to go back, and 66 will fade, and folks will move on to the next shiny thing, shall we say. Um, but I think we should really take this opportunity to keep the focus on Route 66 as the quintessential American road trip, the American story made manifest. And basically, now we should shift the focus to the Route 66 bicentennial. This is the newest edition of Cowboys and Indians magazine. And you have a great article from Pam LeBlanc. Get your kicks on Route 66 in this issue. Pam was is a very interesting adventure. And she was a guest when we were still doing the program on Podbean. Before I get too distracted, I want to tell you what we're doing with Podbean. We're going to keep that going. Um, but we're going to do it a little different. Instead, I can't do live stream, but I'll try to do weekly. The plan is to do weekly pre-recorded programs about upcoming events and things of that nature. See if we can make it a current events kind of situation. We'll keep that going as part of the Jim Hinckley's American Network. Steve Reyes, I met with him the other day. We're planning an event in 29 Palms about the Great American Road Trip. That'll probably be mid-October. He gifted me with a tremendous book by John DeCahill, Silence and the Sun. This is probably one of the best books you can add to your library about Mojave Desert. Route 66 figures prominently, but it's much, much more than that. And this is a good book to inspire a road trip or two or an adventure in the Mojave Desert. Highly recommend this one. You can get this, I know, out in Goffs, California, at Mojave Desert Cultural and Heritage Center, which I highly recommend. Speaking of kids and families and kids of all ages, Goffs is gone. It is truly really a ghost town. But the old 1914 schoolhouse that's the centerpiece of the Mojave Desert Cultural and Heritage Center, well worth a visit. Lots of outdoor activities. All year they do special events like bring in camels to celebrate the Beale Wagon Road. They have speakers like myself. They're part of Harvest Host. Great place for camping, enjoying clear desert skies. Another place that I highly recommend. Take care of this real quick. This is something new out of Oklahoma. And the people behind this, of course, are really, really tremendous folks. Renee Charles, people might know her from her work with her sister Melba in Galena, Kansas. I mentioned Michael Wallace earlier. Ken Busby, and several others. Great new magazine, Route 66 Sentinel. This is another one I can really highly recommend that you look for in your travels. It's not only it's filled with great stories written by some pretty accomplished and talented people. I also met recently with Lon Haldeman. I'm a big fan of Lon's. And Lon is a bicyclist of great renown, and he leads tours now, Route 66 and other tours on Route 66. And he gifted me a copy of his book, Cycling Pioneer. If you're into bicycling or endurance racing or just have a fascination for good inspirational stories, this is another book. Lon, I can't remember the exact number, but it seems to me it was like 454 miles. I believe Lon still holds the record for distance travel on a bicycle in 24 hours. Pretty astounding to say the very least. And I got another one here for you. AAA jumped on the bandwagon. The summer 2026 issue of their publication, 100 Years of Route 66. Another great one. Now let's try to get to some of your questions and I'll button this up. I won't be too long-winded here. I want to thank everyone who's joined us, and I want to thank everybody who sent in questions this week. We're going to try to, we're having to rebuild this a little bit since Podbean shut down. The live stream option kind of threw us a curveball, if you will. But we are going to have regular guests like we did on Podbean. It'll be mostly audio for the guest at this time. I'm working on a project so we can have video if they would like. A lot of people, a lot of my guests prefer audio because it's early in the morning and makes the dress code a little easier. Okay. Now, questions. Let's see what we've got here. Um, okay, let's see here. We got some great stuff for you. Uh, Oklahoma restaurants that I can recommend. Boy, there's a bunch of them. Let's start with up in Veneta, Oklahoma. There's two that I really recommend. Beth Hilburn's Highway Cafe in Veneta, top notch, first rate, excellent, and great Route 66 vibe. Even got muffler men out front. And just down the road to the east is another one of my favorites is Clanton's Cafe, one family owned since the 1920s. Chicken fried steak tops the list, as well as their four berry cobbler. Highly recommend that. I mentioned Sweetie Pie's Amish Kitchen and Bakery, Mother Road Market in Tulsa. Out in Weatherford, I really like Lucille's Roadhouse. That's a good one. Yeah, if you get a chance. Uh, okay, Tucumcari. Yeah, your first impressions of Tucumcari, you got to do a little bit of looking. I get the questions I get sometimes, or the notes I receive. People can be sometimes disappointed in Tucumcari because, yes, we have the Blue Swallow and Motel Safari and some great neon, but the old town is war at the heel. There's just no doubt about it. It's pretty rough around the edges. But if you take the time to do some exploring and talk to some people like Connie Loveland, her offices are down at the historic railroad depot in downtown Tucumcari. Uh, you'll be surprised the things that are there. The Mesa Lands Community College Natural History Museum, Dinosaur and Natural History Museum. This will really surprise you. It's Smithsonian quality museum. Another great opportunity for kids. I haven't checked lately. They suspended it for a bit with COVID and it turned into like a 2-year suspension. But during the summer, a Mesalands Community College Dinosaur and Paleontology Department host a dig in the desert where you can join them for a fossil dig outside of Tucumcari. That'll really get some kids going and spark some great family activity. And if you're like me, who grew up with dinosaurs, with a passion for dinosaurs, that's really wonderful. There's good lodging. Tucumcari has several really great vintage motels. Motel Safari, Route 66 Motel, of course, the Blue Swallow. I kind of lean towards David Brenner's place there at Roadrunner Lodge Motel. The Blue Swallow is neat. I mean, it is really a gem, but it's 1939. But David, I guess one reason, and David is a sponsor, so if it does sound like I'm really plugging that, yeah, I'm really careful on sponsors have to mirror our passion for the American story and road trips. The other thing that really I'm so partial to the Roadrunner Lodge, Joe Sonderman and I were in Tucumcari for an event several years ago, and we had explored that property, and I thought there was no salvaging it, no hope. And David has turned that into an award-winning boutique hotel, and his attention to detail has created as close as you're going to get to time travel back to the earlier mid-1960s. Got the modern amenities you come to expect, but I mean that in a good way. It's an authentic motel, really neat. And Dell's across the street. Well, hard to go wrong for a good meal. Just walk across the street. While we're here, let me rummage through this because I know I had some New Mexico questions since we're talking about there we go. New Mexico. You got a whole bunch of things. New Mexico, I'm really partial to Arizona, but New Mexico has Such a unique culture and heritage, a blending. And man, it's amazing. Like Laguna Pueblo, Route 66 passes through there. I mean, the chapel just off Route 66 was built in 1699, and the village is even older. By the way, if you're traveling through New Mexico, you cross through a lot of reservations and Native American villages, communities. Don't this is not a zoo, and this is not a historic reenactment. This is a people's homes, so be respectful. And the reservations can be very strict. They have their own rules about photography. So inquire first. Just a tad bit of wisdom in there. New Mexico. Okay, you've got a bunch of stuff there. Albuquerque gets a bad rap. I don't know where this all comes from for their crime rate. Like any major city, they got places you shouldn't be after dark, and they've had some issues with crime. But uh, the last statistics I looked at, crime went down pretty steady in 2023 and 2024. Of course, it was going down nationally in 23 and 24, kind of a trend there. But Albuquerque's got a lot to offer. Old Town Albuquerque, the historic heart dating back to the early and mid 18th century, is right along Route 66. The El Vado Motel, an incredible example of repurposing an historic complex, turned that into a destination and did it with taste and style. The Hotel Andaluz, one of the first Hilton hotels, has been renovated in downtown Albuquerque, and it's definitely worth a stop. Restaurants, gosh darn it, Central Avenue, the Route 66 corridor. I could fill a program talking about all of the restaurants. Uh, uh, let's see here. We got Gallup, New Mexico is definitely another one of my favorite places, and people give that one a pretty hard time too. Again, it's just a matter of common sense and being careful. That's the same in most places, even here where I'm at in Kingman. Um, but I have never felt intimidated or bothered in Gallup. But continuing on the answer a whole bunch of these questions at once about New Mexico Route 66. Uh, you've got some great stuff. Of course, the El Rancho, which was started by D.W. Griffith's brother, and it became a haven, a resort for movie stars that were filming in the area, and when they just wanted to get away from Hollywood. Really neat. It was built as the world's largest ranch house. That's how it was promoted back in 39. Really great, fun place. Got a good restaurant on site. Try the Atoli for breakfast. This is the only place off the Navajo and Hopi reservations that I have found that on a menu. It's a blue cornmeal mush. Very good. Other restaurants that I really can recommend would be Angela's Cafe. Angela Chavez has done a wonderful job creating a great time capsule restaurant in the old Harvey House and Depot in Gallup. And just down the street to the east of the El Rancho, Earl's. That place has been there since 1948, and food is superb. One of the things about New Mexico too is the food. It's not. It's got its own unique style. Everything from green chili burgers to the Mexican food is different. It's such a diverse blending of cultures woven into it. Makes it really interesting. The other thing that makes Earl's interesting, it's a throwback to when I was a child. They allow Native American artisans to sell their wares under the portico. You'll find Zuni Navajo artisans selling their wares there. Makes for a great stop. Let's see here. Best time of year to travel Route 66? Well, anytime. It's like the old saying, uh, to modify an old saying, the worst day on Route 66 is better than the best day at work. Um, but what we've got is, I like, for me personally, most of the trips that we take on Route 66 long, if we drive to Chicago, things of that nature, I like late September and October. You'll get into some weather, but it's not too bad. And get into October in the Southwest, the Mojave Desert, Western Arizona, and the desert areas of New Mexico. The temperatures have started to moderate a little bit. They're not quite as extreme because it does. I'll tell you, now in the summer, you got to be careful. Get down Needles, California, and out across the Mojave Desert. I'm an old desert rat. I'm one of the dry roasted nuts, but boy, that country's intense. It's not uncommon to see 120 plus down in Needles during the summer. Pretty intense. So, in answer to the questions, best time to travel, yeah, I like late September or through October. That to me is the best time to hit the road. Let's see. We'll wrap this up here real quick, unless anybody has any questions or wants to chime in. But I've got a couple more questions I thought it would be great to answer. Lodging on Route 66 is something different and unique. Well, I mentioned, of course, the Blue Swallow is a great time capsule. I mentioned the Roadrunner Lodge Motel. You can't beat the Wagon Wheel Motel in Cuba, one of the oldest continuously operated motels on Route 66. That's a real gem, a real time capsule. Rockwood Court, Phyllis's place down in Springfield, Missouri. It's a late 1920s little auto court. They've done a marvelous job of giving it a little bit of a facelift, but keeping the old feel. Also in Springfield, Missouri, you have the Route 66 Rail Haven. That's a top notch place. Kingman, Arizona. I got a couple for you. Check out Tin Can Alley on 66. Tim and Lenore have come up with something really amazing here. They've taken an entire block of Route 66 and transformed it. Tin Can Alley is a park with secure gating, um, for parking motorcycles, things of that nature. But they've taken vintage Airstream trailers, pretty much gutted them. They've polished them to a high shine and they've gutted them and created modern Airbnb rentals. And the great thing about Tin Can Alley, you are literally in the heart of downtown Kingman. Everything is within walking distance. The museums, a diverse array of restaurants like Calico's, Floyd and Company Barbecue. Calico's is a fourth generation classic American diner with a twist. Um, Scoops on 66 is right out front next to Tin Can Alley. So is Mud on 66, a great coffee shop. Beale Street Theater is one block away. It was just renovated. They have some first rate performances and live shows, concerts pretty much every week. So it makes it a great one. The other one I can recommend in Kingman is the Arizona Inn. It's a renovated 1964 roadway inn. And it's right downtown Kingman, too, right directly across from Calico's on Beale Street. So I literally have a notebook filled with questions people have been asking. Um, but I think that's enough for today, unless anybody's got anything they want to chime in um, and share. If not, I'll give us a little shameless self promotion, self plug. We're building our account on Substack as a kind of a central hub for the entire Jim Hinckley's America network. YouTube Live, we're still working on this. There is a means of sharing these programs in the audio format onto Podbean, getting onto Spotify and others. I have not mastered that yet. I'm working, doing a tutorial and study on OSB Studio so we can add video content to this and overlays and make it a little more professional than just me beating my gums here at the office. We have some guests we're lining up now. Guest on Sunday Morning Coffee with Jim will be audio for a bit. Take a look at the website. If you need some travel planning tips, advice, you like good storytelling, history, check out our website, jimhinckleysamerica.com. It's filled with links, travel tips, recommendations, and a little shameless self promotion there. And of course, follow us on Instagram and Jim Hinckley's America Facebook page. We've always got something interesting going there. So, the whole idea here of Jim Hinckley's America is share America's story, inspire road trips by telling people where to go, and encourage people to discover America with road trips. It's all about the people. Always been about the people. Do we have any questions or anything I can answer for you before we bid you adios this morning? Well, yeah, you might take a look at our YouTube channel. You can see that we're pretty much just the two of us, my dearest friend and I. And, excuse me, we have to learn as we go. And but we got a lot of great video content on here on our YouTube channel. One, we recently did a tour of the long closed Hotel Beale. And just an example of what we try to do here. The Route 66 Centennial Passport. Good question there. I'm getting text messages on. I think if you went to the Touch Media website, route66navigation.com, or would like to be included in the next issue of this passport program, you can get a hold of them at passport at touchmedia.sk is a great contact. Let's see if I've got anything else here for you. Yeah, route66navigation.com. That's going to be your best bet. So that answers a few questions. This is the Route 66 navigation app we were talking about. Really, really recommended. Do we have any questions or anything I can answer for you this morning? I want to thank everybody who joined us this morning. I know this is embryonic, but please keep in mind, 7 o'clock Sunday mornings, we're going to meet here on our YouTube channel. And Jim Hinckley's America is a shared adventure. We want, we want to share your adventure, and we want you to share ours. And so invite your friends and join us next week on Coffee with Jim, 7 o'clock Arizona time for the live program. Keep an eye on Podbean, the Jim Hinckley's America on Coffee with Jim on Podbean. We'll be providing some great updates, current information, things of that nature on that as well. Yes, I've got several companies I can recommend. I mentioned earlier Route Trip USA, and Route Trip USA is a great one. It's also Gilligan's Route 66 tours. Not only do they have a guided tour, but Gilligan's Route 66 tours also has a self-guided option. And he goes to great detail, whether you have the caravan tour or self-guided. He puts together an incredibly detailed book for you, as well as an app. Takes care of everything. It's Gilligan's Route 66 tours.com. So that's one that we can really recommend as well. Austin Coop, God bless, does he do a good job? This is American based out of Chicago. Uh, his tours, he does caravan and coach tours. Route 66 is one of his big ones, but he's got some others. New England Fall Colors Tour, and he does a wonderful tour that I personally would like to get involved with to through northern Indiana, Michigan, automotive museums and automotive heritage kind of tours. And he does another out to Yellowstone National Park. It's a first rate, sure. Let's see. Okay. Well, now that's a little hard to answer. How long does it take to travel Route 66? I get that question a lot. Um, to be honest, I don't know. I've only been traveling this road since 1959. And yes, I am that old. And I've yet to see everything that there is to see on Route 66. And the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know. It's changing constantly. It always has. Route 66 of 1960 was quite different from the Route 66 of 1930. There may have been, parts. There are tangible links to 1930, and the same today. I mean, people are traveling Route 66 with ease in Teslas. There's an electric vehicle museum being established in Kingman, Arizona, with Historic Electric Vehicle Foundation. You've got places like Uranus Fudge Company. So, how long does it take to do Route 66? I would do. My recommendation is this: at least 2 weeks. 3 is best, but don't worry. You're not going to see it all. You're not going to meet all the people, and that's the thing. Make time for the people. Take time. Uh, you may have to come back 3, 4 times. Consider it incentive. But the key, the magic, the infectious magic of the Route 66 experience is the people. Take time to talk to people. Before you know it, you might be on the road all day and you've only traveled 150 miles. What the heck? It's all part of the adventure and part of the fun. Well, I guess I want to thank everyone who found us here today. Like I say, we're kind of rebuilding things a bit. Times change, and you got to learn to roll with the punches, I guess, and adapt accordingly. Um, we'll do this again. I've got lots and lots of questions people ask. You can always send us a question through. You can always ask us questions through the website, Jim Hinckley's America, as well, jimhinckley'samerica.com. And I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. Well, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Somebody just had a comment here about Chelsea Torres's recent program on Fox News, her series on Route 66. Yep, that was me. Yeah, we sat down when she was passing through Kingman, gave her a little bit of a introduction to Kingman, and did a little interview, and then had a dinner and talked a bit. Yeah, that was me. Yeah. I don't have details, but John Paget's film, his official Route 66 centennial documentary, will be released and be shown along the road. I don't have details. I'll come up with details and I'll share them. But I don't know exactly when the premiere of that's going to be or where. But I will check on that. Thank you. Right now, my speaking engagements are kind of limited. It's a long story. I'm supposed to be in Tulsa for the Road Fest, and that is my game plan. But I've got a little bit of a family situation I'm dealing with. But I plan on being in Tulsa at Road Fest. I'm scheduled to speak on Saturday and Sunday. You can find that on the website, the details for the roadfest.com website. You'll find details. Other speaking engagements, I mentioned Steve Reyes and I are talking. He's about an event in Palm Springs, California this fall, October 16th. About celebrating the great road trip. Oh, let me see here. Local First Arizona has a rural policy forum coming up in August. And I'll have to get you that information. I will be the keynote speaker at that event. And the National Thunderbird Club is meeting in Flagstaff this year. I'll be speaking at that. The Flagstaff, Arizona, will be speaking at that event as well. And I'll probably, this is going way out, but I'll probably be in Burbank, California. Looks like November, but that's quite a ways out, and that one has to be confirmed. Does that help? Generally, I'm around Kingman a lot. Best place to find me is check in at Calico's restaurant. I get down. If I'm in Kingman, I'm down there about once a week. The food's just fantastic, and I like Calico's a lot. They got a great gift shop there. I sign books for them. They also have the official Jim Hinckley's America Coffee with Jim coffee mugs on sale there. You can also get those mugs, by the way, at the Kingman Tours website, kingman.tours. They have a real expansive Route 66 Centennial gift shop online. You might take a gander at that. Kingman Tours. Well, it was designed as both a virtual tour and a physical tour. Physical tour to discover downtown Kingman. It's also a great planning tool. They have a Yodel AI-powered regional event calendar, lots of other stuff about Walpi Mountain Park in detail. So it's a great planning tool. And it was also, the tour itself was designed as a physical tour, but using QR code technology. It's a self-guided narrated tour, but it's also a virtual tour. So if you find yourself incarcerated and you have internet access, you can still have a tour of Kingman. Well, I've been beating my gums here for almost an hour and don't want to wear out my welcome. But I want to thank everybody who found us this morning and spread the word. This program is a shared adventure, and the more the merrier. So let's build this audience back. Let's get this thing going. 3 times this year, I should say, our social media network, Facebook and others, somehow we've been reaching about 600,000 people of like-minded folks. Well, God bless. I don't know how I did that. My friends, hey, thank you for joining me this morning. And shall we do this again next week? Until we meet again, my friends, I will bid you adios. Bye-bye.